Hello friends, welcome back to the mothership. For a while now, I've wanted to smoke up some beef ribs for you guys. As I was going through my local grocery store, they kind of threw me a curveball and they had a bunch of individual ribs on sale. So I thought to myself, you know what? I wonder if we can actually smoke up individual ribs, which are much more cost effective sometimes, and have really great results. So I have two pretty meaty ribs here. I'm gonna do one of them just salt, pepper, garlic, see what the meat comes out as, and the other one I'm gonna do just like I do my pork ribs, which will probably be a coffee style rub and then a homemade barbecue sauce. So first thing we're gonna do, salt them up today, leave them overnight in the fridge, then put our rubs on and actually smoke them off tomorrow. Let's get this thing started. Now I know it's kind of a pain, but I've actually started to put salt on my meat, well in advance, a day or two, and put it in the fridge to let the salt actually permeate all the way through the meat. And then I'll actually do the rest of my rubs without any salt in them the day I'm actually going to smoke them a couple hours beforehand. This allows me to get better bark creation, I think, on most applications because salt's really not going to create the bark. It's just going to disappear into your meat, and then you have some gaps of meat that's completely exposed to your smoke, and it's just not going to get that barky formation. I'm not entirely sure if this is how I'm going to keep doing it, but since I'm making all of my rubs, I can experiment with some of them having salt in them and doing it all at once, and some of them not having salt in them, doing salt first and then doing the actual herbs and stuff later on. Maybe the next experiment I'll do in the future, but for now, we're going to salt these bad boys, put them in the fridge, and then tomorrow I will put just the rest of the garlic and the pepper, garlic and pepper on this one, and then I'm gonna do a coffee rub on this one. So let's get them all salted up. Our ribs have relaxed overnight, as you can see. They have a nice red color where the salt has permeated the meat. Now what I'm gonna do is apply a binder to this one, which I'm gonna do in my normal rib style, which is obviously a yellow binder, and then a coffee rub, which I whipped together. And then for the other one, I am going to do a little bit of olive oil as a binder, and then just put salt and pepper on it. I'm interested to see how these come out. They're probably gonna take quite a while to cook. I'm thinking 5 or 6 hours at least. One thing you might note is I didn't take the membrane off the back. It holds the meat together a little bit better, I've decided, with beef ribs. You do have to take it off before you eat it, otherwise it's gonna be really chewy and pretty gross. So that's something worth noting. But nothing too crazy here. Let's get them all finished up and then get them onto the smoker. Smoker is up to temp. We are running with Knotty wood, Plum, and Almond, a mixture of pellets today. I have it set at 180 degrees, which is how I start all of my long smokes, just to get as much smoke on there in the beginning as possible. Have them on the top rack. I think we should be good to go. The bone should protect most of the meat from too much heat. Let's close it. I'll come back in a couple hours and bump it up to 225. It has been 2 hours at 180 degrees, and I have now bumped the temperature up to 225. I'm gonna leave it there in pro mode for the next, until they're done really. We're at 155 degrees, I'm going for around 203. And it's worth noting that at this point, I'm going to start spritzing about every 45 minutes with a mixture of 50-50 apple cider vinegar and a light beer. I'm going with Yinlings today, but your mileage may vary. So we're gonna let this keep doing its thing and wait for it to finish cooking. Okay. Both ribs are now at over 190 degrees, which means that for my coffee rub, I'm going to start basting it in a Kansas City style barbecue sauce that I made myself. The garlic, pepper, and salt rib, I'm just gonna let it keep doing its thing. These are gonna go on until about 203 degrees, probed all over. Then I'm gonna put them into my oven to just rest and keep warm. And then we're gonna see what our results are, guys. Let's see what happens. These individual ribs took a lot longer than I expected. I originally put them on for 2 hours at 180 degrees, and then they went on for another 6.5 hours at 225 degrees. But they're looking fantastic. This one is just garlic, pepper, and salt, and it's got a nice crust on it. This is the one that I did a coffee rub and then basted it in barbecue sauce. And I am dying to see how these things are looking on the inside, see what smoke rings we got, and see how they taste. Let's cut into them. It's pretty apparent that our pellet smoker did a great job of cooking these. Look at the smoke ring we've got here. These are just nice and juicy. These are perfect ribs. I cooked these again till about 200 degrees. I am so excited to take a chomp and see how they actually taste. I can't exactly decide which I want to start with, so I think we're gonna go with the barbecue rib first. Let's give it the old chomp. Perfect. And then just the regular pepper, garlic, and salt. Guys, this is just comfort food. I mean, let's get real. Beef ribs are fantastic. I love them. They take a while to cook, and sometimes it's hard to get a big old slab at your local grocery store, especially up here in the Northeast. But if you find these individual ribs on sale, I think we've proven pretty well that you can cook these individually and have great results. These things go on sale for almost nothing. People use them for, I don't know, cooking in liquid or cooking in stock, I don't know. But you know what? You can get them for nothing and throw them on your smoker and have fantastic meals. Absolutely do not be dissuaded by seeing an individual ring at the grocery store, individual rib. I would buy it, I'd cook them, I just did, they're fantastic. Welcome to the Mothership, guys. Send me a like, send me a comment, send me a subscription if you're interested in this kind of content. Welcome, welcome, and please stick around for our next cook.